Hi everyone. Today we are going to be looking at how to determine whether or not fish could possibly be on a stream, creek, or river in an area where you have a culvert that you need to survey. So specifically, we're thinking of fish use potential or significant reaches. Those are going to be on our site ID forms and our level A culvert forms. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to kind of do that with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife fish passage map. So as usual, we're going to type in Wdfw fish passage map into our Google. It's the Geodata Services wdfw.wa.gov one. So I'm going to click that. It's going to pop up a little splash screen. Just hit OK. And here we have a list of all the culverts in Washington State. We're going to zoom in on an area along I-90 in the North Bend area. There's a lot of waterways in there, or water courses. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the left to the layer list. As you can see right now, there's not a lot of information on any of our water courses here, or our streams, all the blue lines. So I'm going to hit the layer list, and we're going to scroll down to fish distribution. As you can see, it's not selected. When I hit fish distribution, all these purple lines pop up. And to go even more so you can really see what you're doing, there's this little arrow right above the checkbox. If you click that, you'll see that SwiftD pops up. That's one of the mapping apps that is used to determine that fish use potential is added into, so that way environmental biologists and fisheries biologists and restoration biologists can see where fish are supposed to be or where they've been noted to be. And if you hit it one more time, you'll see that the legend where purple means there is fish distribution there. So you can zoom in and you can see the farthest extent that fish have been seen or that physical criteria has been met to show that fish can be at. Obviously the line's a little bit off from the actual stream, but it does mean that it is on the stream. So that's a great way to do it, and you can compare it with your culverts that you need to survey. So for example, right here, we have a culvert going across I-90 on this reach of the stream off the South Fork Snoqualmie River. And we know that the culvert is passable. It has our green dot here. And we also know that there is fish use potential there. So it's great that we have a passable culvert there with fish use potential. The next type of map we can use is we can go directly to the SwiftD software. So we can type in SwiftD, so SWIFD mapper, search that, and it's going to be a geo.nwifc.org link. Click on that. There's going to be another splash screen. Hit OK. And we have a lot of colors here. We'll go up into the Duval area. Now all of these colors, they're color coded. So we're going to look specifically at this hydro DNR water types. So the one we really want to look at is the F. F means that there's 100% fish going to be in the area or on that stream. These other S, N, non-typed, and water types aren't as important, but we can also look at the S's. That means shoreline. It means it's almost like a navigable waterway where you could almost take a boat up. Sometimes that's a little arbitrary because it might be a creek where you can maybe get a canoe up, but so S and F are the ones we're really looking at. So based off of our color coding here, anything that's red or blue means there is fish use potential. So obviously there's a lot here. The SwiftD does a really good job of, in my opinion, it has a lot of information and a lot of area coverage. So it's a great thing to pair with our fish passage map from WDFW. The next thing that we can look at is going to be our DNR forest practices application map. So we can type in DNR forest practices application mapping tool. We're going to Google that. And it's going to be an fpamt.dnr.wa.gov link. We're going to go ahead and click that. There's going to be a splash screen. You're going to hit accept. And this map isn't very conducive to really seeing anything. So you're going to hit this 4-square grid, and it's going to pull up your base maps to choose from. I like choosing the topographic base map. So you're going to hit topographic. It gives you a much better view, and you can actually kind of see what you're looking at rather than seeing a bunch of counties. That's nice. And we're going to zoom on in. And there are a lot of filters on this map. So right now, all these purple lines, these are RIA boundaries, W-R-I-A boundaries. And if we wanted to get rid of those lines to make it a little bit cleaner, we can uncheck those. If we zoom in closer, we have our public land survey townships. That can get a little messy, so we're going to get rid of those and our sections. So now that we have that all cleaned up, it's a lot easier to read, there's a lot less mess. All we really need to do is zoom in on the area that we're interested in. So I'm going to zoom in on the Tiger Mountain area. And as you get closer and really get in there, all of this information pops up that you couldn't see at the larger scale. And you see there's a lot of color coding here. And it's the same as on the previous map where we have different labels. And the best way to do that is you're going to go up to the left to Legend, and you're going to scroll on down to Water Courses. And we have type S and type F. Remember that S and F are the ones we really want to look at. So anything that's blue, so S is shoreline, that means it's navigable usually, and then F means it's fish bearing. So we're looking for anything with blue and red on it. And this map's really nice because it shows your topography, it shows roads, it does a really good job at getting an in-depth look at your water courses that you're trying to see if a culvert is on a fish-bearing stream or not. So all the stuff with red and blue on there, those are fish-bearing. So you might want to prioritize looking at culverts in those streams. But if anything, if you're on a culvert and you're like, I just don't know, I'm not sure if this culvert meets the physical criteria for fish-bearing or fish use potential, well, here's the mapping option for that. You can, instead of choosing biological or physical characteristics, you have the mapping option. So if your culvert was right here, you know that it that reach of stream does have fish use potential, and probably is most likely going to be a significant reach, depending on how it looks 200 meters up and downstream from the culvert. And lastly, our last application that we're going to look at is the Wdfw Salmonscape. So we're going to go to Google and type in Wdfw Salmonscape and Google that. It's going to be the first thing that pops up. The address will be apps.wdfw.wa.gov. I'm going to click on that. And you're just going to scroll to this fish where it says Map and Salmonscape. Click on that, accept the splash screen. And here we have our map. So let's zoom in on an area. We'll look at the Gold Bar area. How about that? And as you can see, as I'm zooming in, we can't really see anything here, which is okay because we are going to go into here and look more specifically. So we're going to look at fish distribution. I'm going to hit that check box, and we can check what we want to see if there's fish potential. So I'm going to choose all Salmonscape species. And we'll zoom on out to get a better idea what this looks like now. So basically, anywhere where these black lines are going, there's now a chance that any one of these species here has been surveyed there. They've been biologically seen, or those streams or creeks or rivers meet the physical criteria. And so it's pretty easy to see that. The downside to this app is you have to be really specific about what species you're choosing. We don't always care about some of these species in here. And we're specifically looking at our bat procedures that Wdfw has given us. So, we might not care about bull trout, but it's included in this all Salmonscape species filter here. So I prefer the Swifty or the forest practice application through DNR, or even better, I just like using the Washington State Fish Passage Map with the overlay of the Swifty data, because it shows you where your culverts are, and it also shows you where the fish have been or are at currently. So that's what I like. So we're going to kind of go down a little bit here with all the stuff we have, and I'm going to go to our bat page and show you the last bit of information that I have for you. So we'll go to WashingtonTU.org/bat. And here's our bat team page. And as we scroll down to our tabs area, we have the Training Resources tab. This is another great way, instead of having to do all the Google searching to find these mapping apps that I just showed you, go to the Training Resources and go down to Mapping Guidance. And here we have our Salmonscape, our DNR Forest Practice Application Mapping Tool, and the SwiftD map. And remember, the last thing you can do is go to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife Fish Passage Map, where our culverts are listed, and then just add the SwiftD map layer, which I personally like the most because it shows you where our culverts that we're surveying are also. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is nicholas@washingtontu.org. Thank you.